Gabajibat everyone, welcome to my new episode of podcast. Today I have Cezary here as a guest. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for inviting.
I want to talk citizenship diversification because you're an expert in it.
Sure.
And you're helping your clients with citizenship by investment.
Correct.
And first thing that comes to my mind, okay, these will be some rich boys who have a lot of money to buy another citizenship, but then are they buying passports or are they buying some other value for it and why
Sure.
they do it? So I want to cover all these things. First question, is it actually expensive?
This is the best question actually, because there is this superstition and misinformation on the market that CBI programs, which is Citizenship by Investment, is designed for very rich people, wealthy people, some people associated with some dodginess or illegalities. This is totally opposite. First of all, CBI programs are legal. There are of course some illegal connotations to certain European passports that people sell, but let's not discuss it now. I want to touch this topic. But this solution is 100% legal. You invest in certain asset or you give a donation to the government and you receive citizenship of relevant country. So it is legal and most importantly, it is very affordable.
Okay, give me some particular, maybe tell me what would be maybe the best value asset. I understand that
Sure.
it depends also on which passport I want to get and which value secondarily I would like to get. But say I want to get investment for real estate and
Sure.
get passport for it. Or maybe are there some different types of assets and which ones? And how much it could get?
Okay, it obviously depends on the jurisdictions. In Pacific jurisdictions, it can start at $130,000 or similar amounts. Some jurisdictions offer 90K, 100K, like Nauru or Sao Tome, but we don't really recommend them because they are very new. And the programs, obviously, since they're brand new, they didn't get a lot of reputation on the market yet, and there were not so many case scenarios of people obtaining the citizenship. But I would say the best value for money is Vanuatu because it's the most cost efficient and it's also the fastest in terms of processing. In Vanuatu specifically, there is no real estate option. There is an option of investment into certain funds or government donation. But there are certain jurisdictions like all of the Caribbean islands that offer CBI programs. It's Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, Antigua, and San Lucia. In all of these countries, you can actually buy real estate, and there is a program where you spend when you invest certain amount, and this ranges between $200,000 and $300,000 usually, depending on the jurisdiction, and you can buy a share in the real estate, for example, in a branded hotel, or in most of the jurisdictions, there is an option to actually purchase a standalone property. So you can buy yourself a villa on the beach, or a nice condo or an apartment close to the sea. So there is a part where you can actually get a decent ROI on the investment. It's not only give money to the government and get the citizenship, it's also pay for the asset, get relevant ROI of the asset, or buy yourself a villa and live there, because it's very beautiful in all of these places. It's actually nice to live there.
I wouldn't say no, of course.
And we actually get questions from clients primarily that want to diversify real estate. So it's not only people, yes, I want to obtain citizenship. It's also people, okay, I have real estate in Georgia, in Cyprus, in US, Canada, UK, whatever, but I want something else. I have money, I can afford it. Maybe I want to have a holiday villa in Antigua or in St. Kitts, which is great, by the way. So this is definitely the recommended route because although it makes a lot of sense to donate the money to the governments because they use it for decent purpose. They develop universities, school, there are certain funds that invest in the nature facilities that develop the country, but from the investor's perspective, usually people want to get an asset, and this asset is real estate. And it's a real estate with quite good ROI.
Yeah. So you get a nice, beautiful home.
Yeah.
You can rent it out, and you can get more money in the long term as well. And at the same time, you can get a new passport.
Definitely. And it is affordable even if we're talking about real estate. It might not be a threshold like in Georgia, but you can spend, let's say, $500,000 or $1 million and buy yourself a nice villa. And it might sound pricey, for example, when we're talking about a branded apartment, one-bedroom apartment in Grenada for, let's say, $700-800. It might sound a lot, but I don't know if you have been to Caribbean, but it is actually very expensive to stay there. And if you want to stay in a decent hotel, you will pay from $600 to $900 a night, or sometimes more. So if you calculate, a rental of, let's say, $700 per night and the investment of $800K, you can calculate the ROI.
I see, yeah. Well,
so it makes sense, actually.
I get it. Oh, that's actually very wise. And I wonder then, which kind of people come to you mostly? You already mentioned that some people come just to diversify for real estate. Like, do you see some particular reasoning why I would like to anyway go with, why I would like with passport diversification? First, I think that it's a good idea. Like, I don't want to depend completely on one country, and I see that even what seems to be more of a conservative government turns out eventually to be moving quite fast in certain directions which are outside of my control, and so I am quite scared about where are you guys going.
You never know.
And so exactly,
happen.
Like
especially
I would love
what's happening in Europe nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Like as a European passport holder, I would love to have a second passport 100%.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what will be in 10, 20, 30 years, but it's certainly...
Or in 5 years.
oh my God! Well, yeah. Like, please give me some time. Anyway, so I believe the diversification overall makes sense. Maybe first I will ask: Are there some things people think that the passport will get them, but it will not get them?
Yes. Well, let me answer the first question of your great speech that happened a minute ago.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. So you mentioned real estate, which is of course a target of certain groups of investors. But there is two more main reasons. And the first reason is mobility, and the second reason is plan B, however you want to interpret it. So let's start with the first one, so mobility.
Yeah.
Most of the clients that are coming from outside European Union, for example, Chinese, Egyptians, Africans, Russians, Ukrainians, basically any third country citizens, non-EU citizens that need access to EU and the UK are applying for certain Caribbean citizenships, because most of the Caribbean jurisdictions, they do offer EU and Schengen free access for up to 90 days. So let's say we have a Chinese individual that cannot travel to EU. He wants to visit EU countries, he wants to invest in Europe, he wants to maybe send his kids to school in Oxford in the UK or in Netherlands or somewhere. If he gets Caribbean citizenship, he is automatically able to travel. So mobility is the one of the most important aspects. And if you think about it, okay, me and you are lucky. I have a Polish passport, you have a Czech passport, and we are more or less free to travel to practically all the world. Okay, certain countries we might apply for a visa. We might have to apply for a visa, but our passports are quite strong. Imagine now you are born in
Egypt. Egypt is a perfect example, where they have 40 countries access and goodbye.
Egypt, or you're born in some African country, you cannot travel anywhere. You cannot cross the border. You are stuck at your home, and in order to go to, I don't know, UK, to Italy for nice holidays or somewhere, you need to go through a lot of bureaucracy, pay a lot of money, and probably they'll deny you anyway because you're Egyptian.
yeah.
Or because
You
they don't
cannot
like your face.
They
or
cannot
something.
even transfer money outside of their country,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, it's like there are a lot of crazy things. But I understand totally the diversification for mobility.
Yeah.
I think that it pretty much makes
This
sense.
is-
And people who likely watch me or found me, they understand this kind of point that for certain passports. And then rather, well, I think that who watches me are mostly Europeans. So I guess that for them it's more of a plan B thing.
Yes, it's mainly a plan B, and surprisingly, we have majority of European clients wanting non-European passports at the moment,
I
especially
understand.
people from countries like Germany.
Yeah.
Germany is probably a top nation applying for CBIs in Vanuatu, in Caribbean, in Turkey, and well, we're not going to discuss politics here in this meeting, but we both know what is happening in European Union in certain countries, and some conservative and patriotic and liberal Germans, for example, might not like to associate themselves with Germany anymore, or they might be scared that their government will introduce new rules related to the military service, new taxation, maybe things like FATCA in the US, CRS, etc. So, second, citizenship is a solution. They have always plan B, and what is also important to mention, it's not only a person, man or woman applying and getting the citizenship. In most of the places, you have very high degree of flexibility in terms of adding dependents. So you can get it for your husband or wife, you can get it for your kids, you can get it for your brother, sister, sometimes mother, father, always, sometimes even grandparents. So with one application, you can maybe arrange 5 or 6 citizenships for the whole family, which is a great asset, because then, let's say you're Egyptian, let's come back to Egypt for a minute. Let's say you're Egyptian, and obviously if you are wealthy, if you're successful, you want your kids to have a good future. Your kids with Egyptian passport will not have a great future and will not have a mobility and such a degree of flexibility and opportunities like us, for example, as a comparison. But if your kids will already have 2-3 passports, and if they will be able to travel, it changes the life completely.
Yeah, but I believe that really we don't have to go to even Egypt, but being a German, one thing that I wanted to say, that like if you're successful and rich, like EU doesn't like you.
They don't like you.
And it's like, it's a question for how long you will be successful and rich, because like,
That's
can
true.
we tax more a bit, and inheritance tax and exit tax and all these things, like it's quite getting crazy, and I can see that there are more and more new taxes with new fancy names introduced every year across these countries, even more and more exit taxes, even more control. And I wouldn't be surprised if there would be like global taxation in a few years for the EU.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm very happy to make a bet with everyone on this great video, that within probably 5 years, certain European countries will introduce citizenship-based taxation. There have been many discussions. France was about to do it. Germany was about to do it. Polish Minister of Finance was about to do it, and I think it will happen at some point, because at the moment there are only 2 countries in the world, at least that I know.
Yes. Eritrea and the US,
okay, which we can skip. No offense to Eritreans, and United States of America. And there actually, US is also one of the main clientele for the CBI programs, because they have citizenship-based taxation. So they always have to report, and sometimes they need to pay tax double if they reside abroad. So what many of them do?
You will never be free.
No, you will never be free, and there is no such thing as freedom in the US at the moment. So the solution is renounce your US citizenship and get the second citizenship, which will not tax you based on your passport citizenship, and which will provide you more flexibility and freedom, because at the end people want to feel free, and we want to have freedom, we want to make money, and we don't want to report every day to the government and be scared that maybe in 10 years I want to go back to US, I forgot to report my passive income from real estate or from stocks or whatever, and I go to LA and they put me in prison because I didn't submit the declarations. Like, what the hell?
It's insane, yeah.
And it can happen, it happens.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Obviously, Caribbean passports, for example, or Pacific passports are not a solution for everyone, but for people that want to have freedom, not necessarily these jurisdictions, but second citizenship, preferably second and third citizenship, is a must in my opinion, because as we mentioned in the beginning, it is very affordable. You don't need to have millions. It's enough if you have 1 to 300k, and then you can change the life of the whole your family.
Yeah, 100%. I also believe, like from European perspective, the good thing is that in most cases you don't have to renounce your initial citizenship, so you can still keep the European citizenship.
Correct.
Oh, it gets bad? Okay, you know, as we say in Georgia, naklamdis, that means goodbye, and you are a free person. But imagine that when you're there, you're locked there, you have banking there in the country, you have all your assets in the country that can conscript you, which is just insane.
Correct.
Like don't centralize like this.
Look, you mentioned something, sorry to interrupt you, you mentioned something very important. You mentioned taking some things, you mentioned something that exists nowadays, which is lack of asset protection, especially in conservative Central European countries. And if you do have second citizenship, and if you, let's say, open bank accounts on the second citizenship, if you buy real estate, invest, buy different types of assets, I don't want to elaborate on the legalities here, because certain government officials might not like what I will say. But second citizenship is also a solution for asset protection. It's very different if you buy real estate, let's say, in EU country as a Polish citizen, and it's very different if you buy real estate as Turkish citizen or Antiguan or Grenadian or Vanuatu citizen.
True.
So this is actually another reason why people go for second citizenship. So it's not only real estate, not only Plan B, and not only mobility. Asset protection does play a huge role in this life puzzle.
100% makes sense. And also, exit Texas, you know. It's just getting crazy since I moved out from the EU in 2020, and now thank you. I feel very lucky, and I never looked back, but yeah, like now to me it feels like a theater I'm watching, and I'm like, guys, are you crazy? What's going on? And then
or a circus. Sometimes, if you consider the political movements nowadays.
Well, it is a theater, of course, but then when I look at like how it impacts people's life, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And things are changing actually quite fast, which I wasn't even thinking when I was living in it. It didn't feel like it. But because I would say that the overall narrative is like, look how we're planning the future, look how 2050, etc. But it's just an illusion how like every day the rules are changing, so you get so overwhelmed by huge bureaucracy you cannot ever understand.
In my opinion, at the moment, you cannot plan anything for more than 2, 3, sometimes 5 years. Because of the current world situation, events, changing laws, new taxes, exit tax. I mean, it's crazy what's happening.
Yeah.
But if you have a plan B or plan C and D and E,
100%.
then even if changes are happening, you are more or less resistant to certain things.
Yeah, totally. You will not be that impacted. I mean, you will just be like, damn it. But you pack and you leave. You know, like it's like
exactly.
You know, if you smoke, you will get a cigarette. Oh my god, I was thinking about it. Well, but okay, whatever. Anyway, so where did we finish, right? Because like you just don't care. So this is really good. And when you mentioned conscription, I wouldn't be surprised if Germany would go with that right now, because I saw that the German government changed the law without really informing people, and now it sort of burst, and people started sharing a lot that like if you leave Germany if you want to leave Germany for more than 3 months, then you have to inform the government. get permission for it. And then there's one thing which I saw quite a few governments like to do, and it is actually they either don't prolong your passport abroad, or they revoke your passport.
I know such cases.
For it's
I
insane.
don't want to mention the countries, but there are many cases like this, and I mean it's crazy what is happening.
Yeah,
and
but
you know we have pandemic, we have wars now. You never know what your government will tell you. Maybe certain governments will say, "Oh, from now all the citizens have to stay in the country and help with this war, or serve in military, or maybe allow your assets to be used as hospitals for pandemic situations."
Yeah, or now we need to use your assets for our protection, like the EU claims. So
happening.
The narrative is great, and it's really it's just insane. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking that every time, like when I lived in Europe, I was thinking like all these stories, like it's not about me, it cannot happen to me. All these. Then I started talking to more and more people. I started traveling, and I found out all those people who got their bank accounts closed in Canada and in the UK, people who were called from the police, like, hey, we found your X post on Threads, on X on Twitter, and etc. I was thinking that it's like it cannot touch me, all these asked transactions and so on, Revolt stopping my transactions. And I was like, no, it's not. It cannot happen to me. You know. Then my Facebook account was closed for resharing posts about freedom of speech in Europe. Now I got messages from Instagram. I created. It was an empty profile of I'm writing a book about broadening individual freedom. It was just the name of the book and broadening individual freedom. There was no post, and I got a message that my Instagram was closed. So guys, like you don't have to do anything more or wrong. Like the filters are now even more automated, even harsher, and it feels like as if people should already control themselves, so that not even the government controls you, but already social media. Then we have this age verification, or how is it called, the new digital ID in Europe to access social media, etc. Like it's going crazy, and I don't know, like getting second passport is like question of 10 years ago. Like it's late, guys.
Second passport is only solution not to be trapped, because the governments, as you know and as you pointed out, they're all going towards the direction of central control of their citizens. All this excuse of let's become digital nation, introduce digital ID, government services in one application. Yeah, this might sound great from one side, but what people do not see is that then the government has full control on you. Everything is one system: social insurance, taxes, government facilities, army, etc. And then if you fail to maybe pay your social insurance, or if you fail to submit your tax return, or if you fail to go to the war because your country told you so, then all the services are blocked. All your identity is blocked. You can't maybe leave the country. Maybe they will not renew your ID or passport. Maybe they will close your bank accounts. So second passport is definitely a solution, and I'm sure this is going to go in this way, because we're all going to go into the digital area of services and life,
When you say it, it really feels like 2 years away. Like this is crazy. And then all these chat control laws and so on is in place already. Okay, so we know it's getting crazy. I wonder what would be also when it comes to I want to return to the passports. Like what would be some good hottest picks and for which reasoning?
Like in terms of which jurisdiction to choose?
Yeah, I guess it is highly individual. However, let's target like let's say I'm European and I want to get rid of this crazy hell. Like what would be 3 top most accessible and strongest options for me? Say I want to travel to the EU because I have rest of my family there that is more conservative and they don't care about age verification, but I want to get rid of the crazy mess.
Well, definitely Caribbean passports. I would exclude Dominica in terms of mobility. because they have lost UK access some time ago. But definitely Grenada, St. Kitts, and Antigua. I would again skip St. Lucia for certain reasons. So, in my opinion, first way is Grenada, then Antigua, and then St. Kitts. But again, it's subjective. Let's say if you want to have the share in a nice luxury hotel and get the things done fast, go to Grenada. If you want to have a standalone real estate and you are looking to buy a huge villa, maybe St. Kitts, maybe Antigua, personal. But still, one Caribbean passport. Second, Vanuatu for sure, because it's very cost efficient. You get it in literally 1 month, sometimes 2 months if you know the client is delaying providing documents. Third, it really depends on you. Some people are collectors of passports, you know. And the other thing is that there are not so many CBI programs available in the markets. There used to be Cyprus in the past, there used to be Malta in the past. Now, let's say from the onshore jurisdictions, there is Turkey, which is also a great strong passport. It's not for everyone, because maybe if you are conservative Christian, you wouldn't like to associate with yourself with country that has some of the Muslim population, but it's a great passport. You invest 400k in real estate and you get a Turkish passport.
Oh, that's very affordable.
For European citizens, I would say as the first choice and as the first citizenship, non-European citizenship, Vanuatu, because it's fast and inexpensive, then Caribbean, then maybe Turkish.
Wow, that's quite strong positioning. I know that there's some pressure from the EU as well, like so that these passports are getting more and more expensive, and they're like, hey, we will cut off the diplomatic ties and we will make your access harder for us. You will not be able to access Schengen.
Look, you should have it in mind that maybe at some point rules will change and there will be different countries possible in terms of the visas. Maybe they will cut access to EU at some point in a couple of years, but maybe other jurisdictions will open. China, Russia, etc. So I wouldn't get the primary goal as a mobility for CBIs. At least I wouldn't plan it for 10 years ahead, you know? Nowadays,
100%.
in the next few years, yes, we can plan it. But you never know when the things change. But what doesn't change is that you always hold a second passport.
You're right, totally. Yeah, I meant rather from perspective of price, actually. I'm aware that they were doubling the prices, I think 2 years ago.
They did.
And EU was pressuring this, like, guys, if it will be this cheap, we will have to cut off your access. So I see that the narrative of the countries like that, they actually want to keep the access, but then what I mean is that it's getting less accessible, despite what you shared. It's actually a good deal.
EU, again, with all due respect, I'm an EU citizen. I love EU. I travel to EU all the time. I live in the EU even. I live in Cyprus, which is a great country for any kind of business or life. But EU, by tightening these rules for CBI jurisdictions, has been a little bit hypocritical, because Cyprus had a program for many years and Malta had a program. So it was possible to actually purchase EU citizenship
As
in
Portugal.
Malta. And Portugal, different story, but there was a route to get the passport fast. So first of all, they were a little bit hypocritical, but still, in my opinion, there will be always some flexibility in terms of the countries you can visit from the CBI perspective, because these countries, their main aim is to actually develop the countries and develop relationships with other countries. They want to be member of OECD, they want to comply with the global rules, they don't want to be blacklisted, they want their banking systems to work. So they will always comply with the rules. And again, you're asking a question, and actually EU was trying to do this because they thought, oh, maybe it's only for criminals. This is not the case.
You know, I would say that it's always politicians trying to narrate it as if,
Correct.
oh, it's something illegal to buy it themselves. Let's be real.
But if you actually go through a process of due diligence in the Caribbean jurisdictions, this is not an easy process.
Yeah.
And they are using outsourced third parties that all the government institutions in the EU, US, UK, etc. are using. And you cannot pass an application with somebody who has a criminal record. First of all, this is the main requirement, no criminal record. And second, there are so many tools nowadays that these institutions that are making due diligence are using that it's impossible to pass a criminal into the case.
Yeah.
It's probably easier for any criminal to register himself in the EU country, get the residency and get the passport after a couple of years.
Man, actually, I think that also gets social benefits from the country.
Yes, why not?
Social support from the government. Yeah, you're right totally about it. Well, I think it's there's a huge role of propaganda that actually plays, and I see it. You know, it's also if you get cash, if you pay in cash, you're also in the EU. You're a criminal who wants to do money laundering. So it's
cash
easier. Yeah, oh my God. You want to, as a government, you want to create narrative where people control themselves, so they are so scared that someone could call them a criminal and a money launderer. So it's easier to bring attention to people rather so that they wouldn't care about politicians, because then politicians can do what they want.
Have in mind that in all of these countries, for example, let's take Grenada for example, or Dominica or St. Kitts. Obviously they have central bank. They have banks there, and they have good infrastructure. You cannot just go there with the ton of cash, fly a private jet, go to the bank. Hello, this is $1 million in cash. Bam, put it on the account. No, these banks, although they might be more flexible than European banks, they still have a level of compliance that they have to make. So, if you open a bank account in, I don't know, wherever, in Dominica.
I heard even say Panama, in the past it was like, oh, let's open company and to get residency there and bank account. It's so hard today. It's
very hard.
It's very hard overall to get actually any bank account outside your country where you live. That's why I opened bank accounts in Georgia.
It's hard for people that don't know how to do it and that want to do things randomly. And this is why people come to me. This is why people come to you for the services. Because you know exactly how to approach a bank and how to open the account fast. And this is actually a plus. Obviously, if you're a citizen of Caribbean jurisdiction, you can open a bank account there, you can get the driving license. If you bought a property, you will obviously have a title deed and the utility bills. So if you want to, I will say diplomatically, play around with the CRS, then you can obviously use your not only citizenship, but in this case also a proof of residency in the country.
100% makes sense.
And then when you open a bank account in, I don't know, Singapore, US, Dubai, whatever, as a citizen and resident of, let's say, St. Kitts, then the reporting goes to St. Kitts, if it goes. Not to your original country of citizenship.
I understood. Maybe I think the last question, because we were discussing before recording, it was explain when does your citizenship influence the taxation or not, and what is a myth and what is true?
That's a great question, and that's the most misinterpreting thing that people are considering. So first of all, in practically all of the cases, what matters for tax purposes is where you reside, not what passport do you hold, not what citizenship do you have. So let's say if you were a German citizen and you obtained Antiguan passport, it doesn't mean that you will pay taxes in Antigua. It means you just got the citizenship. You can move to Antigua, which is a very beautiful island. You can buy a villa there, maybe open a business, have a happily luxury and calm life. And when you reside there, when you really reside there, when you live there, then most of these jurisdictions, they actually offer tax benefits. In most of the places, there is no capital gains tax. So you can trade stocks, etc. No tax. There is no income tax, personal income tax. So you can cash out crypto, you can have salaries, you can have dividends, you can have different sources of income, and you will legally pay zero tax because you reside in this jurisdiction. But only the citizenship does not give you any benefit for tax purposes. However, let's not elaborate on this, but if you have citizenship and residency in, let's say, the Caribbean jurisdiction, you can use it for purposes of banking, CRS, FATCA, etc. There is one case where your citizenship can help you to resolve a tax situation, and this is when you have a cross-border inspection, and if you fail all the tests in double tax treaty. So as you might know, let's say, I don't know, again, let's go to German citizen, or let's change German citizen to French citizen. Let's say a French citizen is moving to Cyprus. Let's say this French citizen is moving to Cyprus, and a couple of years ago he obtained a Cypriot passport by investment. So, as you might know, in double tax treaties we have, assuming there is a cross-border inspection, you have tests of having permanent home, you have tests of having center of vital interest, you have tests of having habitual abode, and then below all of these tests there is a test of citizenship. So of which country, if you cannot resolve all the previous tests, then you might pay taxes of a country where you are a citizen. So having second citizenship, or maybe renouncing your original citizenship, might help you in some cases. But again, this is a scenario of a 0.00001%, because tax offices almost never go to these tests. Usually they're able to prove where you reside. If they are not able to prove where you reside, they will tell you, they will able to prove that you are coming back to the relevant country, or they will be able to prove where is your center of vital interest, because you have your partner here, your kids go to school, you have business here and there, etc. So one more time, citizenship is not linked to taxation, almost never.
Yes. I'm very well aware there are quite a few people who are just digitally nomading, and they hope that it's fine enough, but then they keep their things at their mama. And the thing is that I know that there are cases where it's not even the tax office proving you, but it's tax office asking it's you to prove. Then if you are paying by card, if you don't, you have traces. So then it's quite easy to, or rather it's hard for you to prove that you don't really have ties.
It's very simple. The tax office wants to receive a tax residency certificate. If you are claiming that you're a digital nomad and you travel all the time, okay, show it, prove it that you don't have a link to your country anymore. I guarantee to you, well, you are from this industry. Most of the people cannot do this, so you always need to have a residency. There is few people in the world, literally maybe 5 in the world, maybe 10 in the whole world, that are perpetual travelers.
My business partner is a perpetual traveler.
This concept exists, but it's very difficult to achieve it. It's not for somebody that, let me move to Malta for 3 months, and then I will go to Georgia for 6 months, and then I will stay in US for 1 year. This is not perpetual traveling.
100%. Like, he's traveling literally every 3 days to another country.
Great.
But there are indeed how many such people. I met a few. I mean, but you're right.
I know a few as well, but it's almost impossible to achieve in the modern days. Plus, sometimes people, they do nomading around for a couple of years. They might want to decide to have a stable life. They might get married, live in one country, have kids there. They need to open a bank account. Show me your residency. Where are you residing? Nowhere. No bank account.
It's really hard.
Or they want to take a loan. Let's say they moved to Cyprus and they found their dream villa. How do you take a loan? If the bank will ask you to provide tax declarations for the past 5 years and source of income and this and that and this and that, and these people what? They will say, sorry, we don't want to give. There is no such thing.
You have to make money, to not ask for loans. But I understand it's not for everyone. I would say that just like to finish this topic of.
I want to touch one more
okay,
topic,
sorry.
please, because
I just wanted to say
yes.
that it's important to have, it's better to have some tax residency that is clear.
Yes.
To me, it's like, I travel a lot, I am Czech, but like it's so clear to everyone that I'm tied to Georgia, I'm all in Georgia, I live in Georgia, I have a car in Georgia, I pay my taxes in Georgia.
I am a witness.
I have a witness to be here in Georgia. So I think it's very important. Yeah, it's easier for everyone. If the tax officer, especially a bureaucrat, can like, Georgia, okay. You know, like no more questions asked. Is just make it easy for them. Like I know people who went through these controls is just insane, and just make it easy and understandable. People think like, oh, I'm so fancy, you know, Monero, and then
you are, come on.
you know, but then people are like, people get such questions, and they're like, what should I tell them? Like, oh, you know, I'm so cool, I will hide from you. And they're like, I don't care, you have to prove it, man.
No, but it is a problem. But what I want to discuss, I probably got a bit emotional in the beginning of our meeting, and I'm very pissed off about this market situation. So I want to comment about great service providers. They claim to be a CBI providers. That officially sell or assist to sell European citizenship. You probably saw on Instagram, on Facebook, or on Google, some ads from Google, get a Slovenian citizenship in 1 year, pay 35,000 euro, get a Romanian citizenship, get a Hungarian citizenship in 6 months. I'm sorry, but this is all impossible. Most of these providers are either scammers or they're using illegal ways to actually process the citizenship. There are some countries where you can still, let's say, add by pen
your grandma.
Who was your grandma, or that you were born in central province of a EU country, or you can prove your family roots, but this is called fraud and forgery, strictly speaking. So if you pay, I don't know, 30k, 50k for a citizenship, and you get this kind of passport, and then you have an accident, and the police catches you. Let's say you had a car accident and somebody died. Then police catches you, and you go to prison. Not because somebody died, but because somebody died and you're a fraudster. You have a fake passport. You never lived in Hungary, or you were never born there, or you never had a grandmother in Hungary. They found your passport, and the place of birth says, I don't know, Warsaw, Moscow, Paris. How come you, in the other passport, place of birth says Budapest? So this is, I want to make everyone very aware that there is no CBI program in European Union at the moment, and most of the guys who are advertising this second citizenship in EU, they're just scammers. However, almost every country in the world can grant a citizenship to anyone by the exception, by the order of the president of the country, for certain aspects. So let's say you are Egyptian again, you have moved to Hungary, and you have a great economic impact on the country. You have built schools, you have been doing charity, you have been doing business with the government, you help the country to develop, you have the people, you have real economic, social, personal connection, you live there, and you know, after living there for a couple of years, maybe you already feel that you are associating with these people. Maybe you feel like, I want to be Hungarian, you know, this country is great, which is great. And then there is a special procedure where the president can grant you the citizenship. But there are no thresholds. It's not like invest 100k or invest 50k or pay me 50k and get the passport. You need to work hard to get it. And I'm pretty sure these people who are making the advertisements of get your EU citizenship for 20, 30, 50k, I'm pretty sure they're not using this method, but they're helping 100%. In forging documents. Yeah. So, sorry for my emotional
It's good that
shot,
you shared.
but I think it is my responsibility as industry professional to make people aware, to be very careful of what they are doing, and if they go to a service provider, they should request legal documents proving that this is possible. You get a PR by investment, show me the documents. Citizenship by investment, show me the documents. How will you get my citizenship? So these are the questions actually that the clients should ask every provider, because if you don't ask these questions, sometimes people, they're not good with documents. They just sign whatever the provider tells them, and it might turn out that you signed the documents that were fake or that were not done correctly. So please be very aware.
Okay. I hope to make this episode like, okay, how can I just jump if I really have to get out of this nonsense? I want to diversify as fast as possible. What are the options and so on? But one has to be still mindful. That makes sense, yeah. On the other hand, the more I see, there are some less of the programs for people who want to diversify passports, who want to invest and...
Plus, I will spice up things a little bit. There are certain jurisdictions where you can pay for the investment in cryptocurrency.
Yes.
But I don't want to mention which ones. Of course, in the legal route. We're not talking about anything else.
Of course. Well, I'm sorry. You came from Europe. You find it like it's like a hidden secret, guys, because he's coming back to the Europe. But I'm in Georgia. Here we can newly get the crypto on our bank account.
But you have to admit, here it's also legal. There is no dodgy procedures around. It's a great place. Banks are okay with this. People are okay with this. The government issues licenses.
It's perceived as just different currency because that's what it is. I mean, anyway.
I can't agree more.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your experience mainly with us. I hope that it will serve someone who is interested into diversification of passports. I think you brought more clarity into it, so that's really great. And thank you. I will leave your contact details in the description so that you can get to Cezary and he can help you out to find the best passport.
Definitely.
See you around for next time.
Ciao.
Cheers.